For those who are afraid of making homemade puff pastry, here is the recipe for semi-quick puff pastry, a cross between traditional puff pastry and quick puff pastry. For this recipe, we prepare a dough base. You mix together the flours, the very cold butter, and the water. You mix in the food processor for 30 seconds at a slow speed. It really should not be homogeneous or clumped together at all. You will pour all of this onto a floured work surface and gather the dough with your hands. There, you will start to bring it together a little bit. You form a ball, wrap it in plastic wrap, and place it in the fridge for half an hour. Then you will roll out this dough base into a long rectangle. We are really halfway between the quick puff pastry, where there is no dough or kneaded butter, everything is mixed at the same time, and the traditional puff pastry, where there's is a dough and kneaded butter, but with resting times, a really well-structured process. Here, we roll it out, but we don't aim for something really perfect. Your rectangle should be about 40 centimeters long and 20 centimeters wide, approximately. For the ingredients and equipment, check the description below the video, then fold the top and bottom over themselves just to draw 2 lines, marking where you will place your butter. It's important to have the butter and dough at the same temperature. If you have a thermometer, that's ideal. If you don't have the same temperature, put one or the other back in the fridge for a bit. Then you will cut pieces of butter and distribute them between the 2 marks you made earlier. Fold the dough over itself, enclosing the butter inside, similar to a traditional puff pastry. Then roll it out again into a rectangle. Next, give it a simple turn by folding the top towards the center of the dough and the bottom over it. Rotate the dough a quarter turn and roll it out again into a rectangle. Here, we don't allow any resting time. We proceed with all the turns one after the other. Similarly, try to make it about 40 centimeters by 20. Then we will give it a double turn. This time, fold the top towards the center, the bottom towards the center as well, leaving a small centimeter between the two, and fold the 2 parts over each other. Turn the dough a quarter turn again and roll it out into a long rectangle. And there, the same, give it another double turn. Fold the top to the center of the dough. Then the bottom the same way to the center of the dough, leaving a small centimeter in the middle, and fold the 2 parts over each other. Wrap it in plastic wrap and leave it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes before rolling it out. You can also prepare it the day before or even 2 days in advance, but in that case I advise you to take the dough out of the refrigerator at least half an hour beforehand. Otherwise it will be too hard to roll out. Look, let's take a quick look at this layering, which I think is really quite good. So it obviously doesn't match up to traditional puff pastry or inverted puff pastry, but it's still really very good. Look at an example once it's baked. And by the way, I'll give you this recipe very soon.